We're Kim and Al. We have been planning our escape from a fast-paced corporate life since we met 10 years ago. Freedom 45. This year, we finally pulled the ripcord. We quit our jobs, sold our home in the city, bought a property in the sticks, and are building an off-grid home ourselves. We're excited to share our experience as we create our new life on the North River. We've been getting a lot of rain this week, which has made digging for the field bed a challenge. The wheels spin out in the mud. We almost have it done, and then we'll be able to order the sand. Hopefully next week we will order the holding tank, which means we will have to practice with the backhoe on the tractor to dig a hole for that at the head of the field bed. We have to empty our black water in the trailer again, which means that we need to get the electric pump connected to the well, because our trailer has a connection for a hose that rinses the holding tank and cleans the sensors. We've been using the well as a rainwater reservoir, and with all this rain, we're up to about 150 gallons. Our trailer has a 50-gallon tank, so we're in good shape. Every few days, we take a few steps forward into the 21st century. Hopefully, we will not need to pump out again. Fingers crossed, the next time that the black water is full, we'll be able to dump it directly into our new septic system.
2 a.m. in the car, playing our favorite song. Turn it up, windows down, we sing along. The summer night has just begun. The moon is bright, let's have some fun. Oh, this is everything, with you right next to me. So alive, and tonight I'm thinking that I don't wanna go. Calling sick in the morning, baby don't leave. They don't need to know we're out here wild and free. They say we're crazy, it's too much. Crazy, deep in love. Oh, this is everything, with you right next to me. So alive, and tonight I'm thinking that I don't wanna go.
Hey folks, just wanted to take you guys on a quick tour of the well 2.0, maybe 3.0. We've had a couple of iterations of this. So first we had the sand point and the old-fashioned hand pump, and then we ended up pumping the well down below level so that it started to suck air, and then we lowered it down, add, rinse, repeat, kept draining down the well. Then you saw we had to dive down into the deep and dig it all out. Now it's recharged somewhat from the rain. We've also put a few buckets of filtered water down here as well. We're going to start storing this as a groundwater holding tank. And what you have here is our jet pump, 3/4 horsepower. And this is a pressure tank. This is the tank T, it's called. And so what you have here altogether is a system that this device here both supplies power and is a pressure switch. So what will happen is you set a maximum and a minimum, and when it goes below the minimum it will kick the pump on. The pump will run until it gets the pressure up to the maximum, and then it'll stop. What this tank is for is it will take some water, 20 gallons, and store that under pressure, so that instead of you needing the pump to run continuously, this will basically store some water under pressure so that you have, I guess, a little bit of reserve, so that the pump's not running continuously. It'll only run for a short period to just continually charge. So water comes from this 1 1/4 inch pipe into the inlet valve for the pump. Then a 1 inch outlet comes out of the pump And into the tank T, this is a pressure relief valve, so that if the pressure exceeds the safety requirements, this will allow water to spray out. Should probably move that out a little bit so it can pour off the tank. Then this is just a relief valve. You can open this up and let water out, or just if you need to fill it or whatever. This is redundant, unfortunately, because this comes with a pressure switch, so we have two of them. But this one is not wired up, so it doesn't matter. Now this is just a pressure gauge, so this will tell you how much. So we used this earlier when we had our Blackwater Odyssey, so that we could rinse out the trailer. And when we ran it, it basically gets up to 50 psi. Then it starts to store water in here till that's full. And then when everything's equalized at 20 psi, pounds per square inch, then it shuts off and good to go. And then we have that running to the hose. And from there, it's not unlike anything that you would have in your house. So this replaces the city service that normally goes into your house, and you can pretend or maybe you don't know how it works, and you don't have to know how it works, and who cares. Folks, fun little morning. Well, yeah, still morning. Kim and I are just puttering today, working on setting up the work shed, pulling apart a pallet, setting up my drill press so that we can finish our final work for the well. Anyways, I've got a minnow trap that I've set out here, and I just meant to catch some smaller bait fish that I could put on either a gorge hook or put on through regular hook and bobber and chuck out. I've already caught a couple of fish. I'm not really trying super hard, but you know, there is a lot of bass and pike and stuff, and there's supposed to be rainbow and legends of sturgeon that come through here. But at any rate, I wanted to pull up the minnow trap because I guess I got lazy and I kept seeing that I had some crayfish and some other bait fish, and I let it, I just kept putting it back. I'm like, I'll pull them out later, I'll deal with them later. And that was kind of a questionable call, but it let this big fat bass, big smallmouth bass, swim in and get himself caught in our minnow trap. And I would put this thing at about maybe 3 or 4 pounds. It's a nice sized fish. And he seems to have mangled all the other fish in here. But now we in turn are probably going to eat this poor fellow. We caught a big fat fish without even trying. Makes me happy.
Hi guys, so we are at the end of a very rainy week on and off. Today is gorgeous, but the rest of the week has pretty much been raining on and off, so we decided to take advantage of that and organize ourselves.
Turn some lemons into ye olde lemonade.
Right. So we set Al up in the Shelter Logic tent, and that's working out really well. He's still got to organize himself a bit,
sure
so
does.
I might show you that later. But for now, we've got him set up in there, and then the only issue was that we didn't have anywhere to put the tractor for, you know, when it rains, and then obviously later when it snows in the winter.
We did try to park it in there, but it did not work out. It's like Tetris, so the tractor fits in the tent along with all my tools and workbench and stuff, but then everything is like rammed against the walls of the tent, and my workbench, I really like to have that central so I can get around it, because I've added all these things to it. It's got a vise at one end and another vise on the other end, and yet another vise on the other end, so you need to be able to work all the way around it to get all the usefulness from it, and it was just too crowded, so we made another Bumtown tarp compromise with Kimmy. We took down the small blue one that we had, and then we just strung up a rope between two trees, and just like an army tent, we put a 20 by 30 foot, I think it is, 20 by 30 foot tarp, pinned it right down to the ground over top. We've already had a couple of windy days. It seems to be holding good, and that I can drive the tractor right into it, and we can park the riding lawnmower and the yard boss, the tiller, and the diesel for the tractor and everything else, just kind of organizing things and getting it out of the rain.
It makes it easier to get that stuff in and out, and then that way on rainy days, if Al wants to do stuff in his shelter lodging tent and his little workshop, he can. He's, you know, he's all set up in there. And then in addition to that, we organized our shipping container. So one of the things I was worried about with the winter coming is that we wanted our kayaks to be hung up in there, and so we needed to rearrange a bunch of what we had done when we first moved up here. We have a lot of bins in there, and it's set up in aisles, and I've itemized everything, and we have that in Google Keep so that we just know where to find everything.
Big ups to Kimmy. Yeah, it's like crazy organized. There's like no joke, every single thing we've owned that came with us from our place is in one of those bins and in Google Keep. So each bin has a label. If you take that label and find the corresponding Google Keep sheet or the list, then you will see all the things that are in it. So if I say, where's my blah blah blah, we look it up and it's in bin number 4, and then we go in bin number 4, and lo and behold. Not only that, but when we brought this stuff up, some of it came with us in the trailer in the truck, so we weighed everything too and itemized it, so we knew exactly the weight, like with those little luggage scales, so that we didn't overload the truck or the trailer because we had so much stuff to haul.
So looking a lot better, and that we're really pleased. Like this week has been, you know, for the worry about the weather, it's really actually ended up being a very efficient week, and we have gotten a lot done. Another thing that we did was we went to Al's mom's place, hi Joycey, which is a couple of hours away from here, and she had a white pine in her backyard that the city was going to take down.
City. Yeah. The town was gonna. They gave notice because it's too close to the power lines, and I just asked her to tell them to leave it. And I didn't realize that you can actually specify specifically what you want. So you could say, leave everything bigger than 3 inches, for instance, and then they'll leave you like all the useful firewood stuff. But I didn't know that you could menu item, so we just said leave it, and they did. And when we got to the property the first time to take a look, my mom's place, we just drove through the back and had a look, and I was like, holy smokes, there was 4 feet of tree covering the entire backyard, and not exaggerating.
Impressive.
Yeah, it was daunting to say the least, but
yeah.
we got her done. It sharpened up this little axe that my dad gave me a million years ago, and brought my cordless chainsaw, and we got her done.
Yeah, it's all in piles now. We are going to obviously have to go back and bring it here, but
rent a trailer.
We were surprised at how much we got done in a, you know, I think a 4-hour span. So and it was raining the whole time. It was actually, but it wasn't too bad.
So when we build our enclosure, we'll have a little wood stove. I think we mentioned that, and that'll heat that enclosure, and then the trailer will heat to taste with the propane furnace built in. But I don't think this tree will cover it. Like we need probably buy a couple more cords. What's great is around here, there's a million people that sell firewood. You just pick your poison, and they'll, you know, pick a date and they'll drop it off for you in a big pile. So that'll be some fun for us, but we can do that closer to the fall. We don't have to get that done right now. We have more pressing concerns with finishing the septic bed and starting that foundation for the shelter that we'll have for the trailer.
Yeah, so that's where we're at.
Yippers.
And
a little bit of tractor time. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah.